Well, I haven't done a thrifting video for a while, and since we are on the cusp of Valentine's Day and spring, I thought it would be kind of fun to do a thrifting then gifting segment, so it might inspire some ideas. And so that leads me to my question of the day. As I show you guys these things, tell me how you would give them a second life, how you would style them either for yourselves or to give to a loved one or to your sweetie for Valentine's Day. So these, I confess, I did not go to my thrift store, but all of these things are things that have been thrifted or that you can find easily at any Goodwill store or junk store, secondhand store. These are all things that you can easily find. All of these here I did get, with the exception of one thing, I did get at a thrift store. So let's talk about different just categories in general. I think all of us kind of like certain things as a motif and as a material. So like I love things that in general are just metal and that are just wood, that are just porcelain, and you guys may be like that too. And I also like certain forms of things, and I love the form of a picture in all sizes, and I love how they can just be used, what great multitaskers they are. They can be used in so many different ways. So as a category, I always look for pictures, and here are a couple that I have scored at my thrift store. So this is just, oops, sorry, I'm already knocking things down. So, which is another good thing. If you are clumsy like me, then maybe it's a good thing that you don't spend a lot of money on things. You get them at the thrift store. So my clumsiness notwithstanding, this metal picture is it's just good looking. I just like the way it looks. It looks to me like something that would have come from an old English pub or something like that, and it would be absolutely brilliant with an inexpensive, doesn't have to be expensive, bouquet of greenery or flowers for Valentine's Day. This one in particular I can see spilling over, particularly with some kind of really blousy form. So I see peonies right now at your florist at maybe Sam's or Costco or Trader Joe's or your local florist. They may have deals right now on cabbage roses. Anything that's got that kind of blousy form. I have not been to my florist today, so I don't have this filled for you. But anything like this you can find really inexpensively. Sometimes they might be plated silver, sometimes they might be brass or whatever. This one, let's see, does it have a marking on it? This one is stainless steel. And it's great. It would also be great if you scoured it and then you put really cold milk on it. If you were doing a bed and breakfast kind of shtick for overnight guests that you may have, or just your family and loved ones, you could fill this up with ice cold milk or almond milk, and then have in other different containers that you may have thrifted, have things like granola and yogurt and fresh berries and fruit or dry cereals. So that's one idea that you can thrift then gift. I love this one. I also love this more delicate one. This has more of a Downton Abbey kind of vibe, and in my thematic for this year, which is to make something that's dull shiny, I would definitely shine this up, and I think it would just be really, really beautiful, filled with something special. I have a friend who makes homemade grog. It would be fun to make some mulled wine and bring it over to somebody who might have a cold. I also think, and this is probably what I'm going to be using it for, I just think it's beautiful. And I'm trying to drink more water, and it is probably more attractive to drink more water when it's in a beautiful vessel. So I might just shine this up, clean it out, and just have a beautiful pitcher of ice water with lemon in it that I have sitting out. But I think it's just beautiful, and I think it would be a really fun gift to someone. I bet bet you could also find some kind, if you wanted a look that was a little bit more rustic or a little bit more indoor-outdoor, I bet you could find some kind of basket that would almost form-fit around the base, and it would give you that kind of artisanal vibe. So I really liked this picture. I think it's delicate. I think it's just really wonderful. You could obviously take the top off and use it for flowers as well, but I just love pictures in general that are multitaskers. Now, something else that I really like, this time of year at, gosh, Aldi's, Trader Joe's, your grocery store, wherever, you can find lots of these hyacinths that are already forced. It's one of the reasons I don't force hyacinths myself anymore, because you can just find them so easily different places, and I just don't really have the room to do that. So it's one thing that I just am making it easier on myself, so I buy them already in this situation. Now, a lot of times I will take this and I will put it into another container that I find a little bit more pleasing. I might actually, because they're so inexpensive, buy 3 of them, plant these out, put them in something that might be crystal or cut glass. Again, something you might be able to find at your thrift store. But here's my thrift then gift, an idea that I have that I've showed you before, but this is how I'm going to do it this year. Because I buy these in quantity, a lot of times I have a bunch of these hyacinth vases. They're all the same, they're identical, but I kind of don't know what to do with them. So I shared in an earlier thrifting video, and you guys might want to go to my playlist on thrifting. Stuart, would you put a link above? So that there's one whole playlist on just thrifting. And what I like to do is take any type of container like this that you may have gotten something in, and for me it's usually glass. I try not to buy plastic, and then fill it with something else and re-gift it. And so to make it secure and make it enclosed, then I will often just try to find a cork or some type of cap that will fit on top of it, and then I can put something either liquid or granular inside of it. So you could use this same thing and you could make some lemon sugar or some ginger sugar or anything along those lines and gift it this way. But I think what I'm going to do with mine, I love this idea. In one of my earlier videos, I talked about how much I love Dr. Teal's soothing Epsom salt granules, and also Epsom, and also their foaming bath oils and bath washes and bath bubbles. And you can get those very inexpensively in large quantities. So if I'm going to have like a Valentine or something like that, I'm going to take these and I'm going to put these corks on top, and I'm going to fill this with the Epsom salt, bath salts, and then I'm going to take these, which were remnants of some very, I think, very pricey, too pricey things like tonic water and club soda that my husband bought once I think he got these at a liquor store, and to me they were just a little bit pricey, but partly it's because these bottles are so gorgeous and they've got these beautiful motifs on them, so I couldn't bear to throw them away. So I've got a 6-pack of these, and I will get out my Gooby Gone. I will really wash these very well, and then I've got some recycled cork caps that came off of wine bottles, but you can also find these in bulk places. And I'm going to fill these up with some bubble bath, with some lavender Dr. Teal's bubble bath. They also have that in spearmint and in eucalyptus. And then I have 2 Dr. Teal's bath products that I can gift in that iconic blue. I'll probably do some kind of blue bow on it or whatever. And I have a set that I can then give as little Valentine's gifts if I have a Valentine luncheon, or if I just want to put together a care basket or something for a neighbor or somebody who's kind of low. These make wonderful smile presents. So it's a way that you can recycle and repurpose some of these pretty little jars that you might have too many of them lying around. And I just think it's a fun thing and a kind thing to do. So here is another idea. I I think I got this out of a Martha Stewart magazine many, many years ago. Now, I have done it in my own medicine cabinet that has glass shelves. It's behind my mirror. I have done this with some of the teacups that were in my mom's teacup collection. She had a wooden cupboard that hung on the wall, and it had different little small square compartments in which she had residing her collection of different little teacups. So when we were cleaning out my mom's house, I may have showed you these before, what I did was I took the little creamers and the little vessels that she had in there. I made sure that they all coordinated in some fashion. And now in my medicine cabinet, I use these to hold different types of toiletries. So I've got cotton pads. You could put Q-tips in here. I've got some of those little dental things in one. I've got razors in another. I have a number of these that are in my medicine cabinet. Now these belong to my mom, and so they make me happy every time I open up my cupboard, but you could easily find little teacups like this. They could match or not, but definitely I think it's more fun if they kind of coordinate in a color palette. They don't have to be expensive. You can find these almost anywhere in almost any junk store, garage sale, Goodwill, thrift store, and you could just come up with a fun little ensemble of coordinated little porcelains like this. Now, how you would turn them into a gift is to get like a little basket, a flat basket, or just a pretty box or something, and then put an assortment of them in there already filled with toiletries and things for somebody that you want to do kind of a self-care kind of, I'm really into self-care and body care this Valentine's Day. So I think that would be just a really charming little gift. Wouldn't your mom like something like that, Stuart? Julia, Stuart's daughter, might like that, and she could use it to put her lipsticks in or her mascara and things like that. And I think it just kind of upscales your medicine cabinet a little bit. I love that. Now, I also like the idea of I also just love the iconic form of bowls. And whenever you see a pretty bowl, and you personally may or may not have a use for it, and you also may already have too many bowls. But I found this one. I may have shown you this one before. I found this one at Goodwill. I just love it. So many of you are into blue and white. And a lot of times you can find blue and white porcelain or any kind of just blue and white ceramic that you can then re-gift and repurpose. So for this, what I probably would do would be fill it up with some beautiful like small scented candles, or probably more appropriately, since I'm into bath and body care right now, some beautiful small scented soaps that were, especially if they were organically made, if they were artisanally made by someone local, fill that up, get some tulle or something, package it all up, put a bow on it, and it's something that you could put together a very inexpensive gift for Valentine's Day. I think that would just be very, very sweet. Well, another great category that you can always find at your local Goodwill or thrift store is just things that are just glass, particularly really large glass jars or glass florists, vases, things like that. I tend to always have a little bit of an inventory of them in my basement or in my cabinet because I get and use so many cut flowers. So in this case here, isn't this fun? I've taken a really just large vase that someone had recycled. I put it over something else I got at the thrift store, a wooden saucer, but any kind of ceramic saucer, anything, in whatever, metal and porcelain, wouldn't matter. You can make a tiny little terrarium out of it by just putting the glass vessel over whatever little plant it is, or in some cases it might be, you know, maybe you have a little porcelain bird statue or something like that, and you can make something kind of elevated style by enclosing it. You can also do it, I'm so obsessed with these little tiny orchids you can find now. I got both of these at Trader Joe's. The succulent, which my kids are just really into right now, those were $2.99 for that tiny little succulent. And I think these tiny little orchids were $6.99. And by the way, this one is 3 weeks old. So that just shows how long they last and how well worth the investment they are. And I love the little container that it came in. But you can then repurpose something that you already have with some freshly bought plants or cut flowers. So in this case, it would be really sweet. I got these. This was part of a set that I got last year at my Goodwill store to use for Easter. It's a champagne flute, but you could also take some of these tiny little orchids. You could put it in a champagne flute like this. You could stabilize it with some wet green moss, and you could have one of these at every place setting if you're having like a fancy romantic luncheon for your girlfriends or something like that. It would just be a fun way to reuse something that's glass. You could also use, I have had this for a while. I don't even know where I got it. If I got it at Goodwill or it belonged to my mom. Stuart said, well, what is that and what would you do with it? Well, here's what I would do with it. And you could also conversely do it with any kind of fluted glassware or things like that would come in sets if you wanted to do this at each place setting at your dinner or luncheon. But you just basically turn them into little food protective domes. You get any kind of little bowl or little saucer. Teacup saucers are wonderful for this. Then you can even kind of recycle and repurpose your chocolates left over from Christmas. Unwrap them. You could put a truffle in there. You could buy one large box of Valentine candy, separate it and put it here. It would be really, really beautiful, I think, and very, very elegant. You know, you often say, well, I don't think my junk stores would have anything like that. You must have a really good Goodwill. Well, I do, but I have also been to lots of other stores all over the country where you can find this kind of stuff for pennies everywhere. So it's at garage sales. So it's just a really wonderful thing to do. So my last idea that I've kind of showed you before, but this is something that I'm going to use and I'm going to gift to my kids. I got this at Goodwill. I showed this one time before, how you could use it for different things in the garden. And I just love it. I love it because it's got a really rustic contemporary vibe. But this, I am going to reuse, recycle, and I'm going to gift it to my kiddos. And I'm going to put tiny different little succulents in each one. They live in a loft apartment in downtown Denver. It has a huge windowsill with those commercial windows, and this sitting in that loft window with their kind of rustic contemporary minimalist vibe, I think will be really, really cool. They fit better if I take them out of these little terracotta pots, but if I wanted to leave them in this Italian terracotta, all I would have to do is put some adhesive on the bottom, and then I could have an assortment of them that ran up and across this, what was a columnar candle holder. Likewise, I could also, if I wanted to do something a little different, it would be really cool, like to put all of these tiny little orchids in here also, secured at the base so they don't topple over. But I could do these all in white. I could do them all in a deep maroon color. It would have that same kind of contemporary minimalist vibe that they like, but very inexpensively and very, very beautifully. And I just love that idea. I could also put the plants in every other one, and in between put a little tea light or something. All of these things are ideas that you can get when you go thrifting that you can then re-gift to your loved ones. So let me know what you guys would do with these pitchers, with this glassware, with these leftover hyacinth jars. Just let me know how you would reinvent them and re-gift them in your world. Well, here's my outfit of the day, and this is a perfect example of when you guys comment and you say, do you really dress like that when you work out in the garden? And this is what I consider to be one of those kind of hybrid outfits that, yes, I would do some work out in the garden in this outfit, and then I would also go to lunch in it. So yeah, I would work out in the yard in something like this. So from top to bottom, my earrings are made well via Nordstrom Rack. My pearl necklace, this was given to me by my husband the very first Christmas we were married. My shirt is thrifted. I got this at Goodwill, and here's a tip, you guys. I a lot of times will look for these kinds of shirts in the little boys section or men's extra small, and so when I get hot from working outside, I can just take off my jacket and then I'll just have this shirt on. But I got this at Goodwill. My jacket, which I love, is also thrifted of sorts. This is from Marshall Fields, if you recognize that brand from way back when. I love the cut of it. And I got this off of Poshmark, which is that secondhand clothing store that I am so obsessed with right now. I love this, and I'd been looking for a blazer like this for a really long time. I love its equestrian vibe. This is, say it all together, this is the gold belt you've seen many, many times before that I got at a Western thrift shop or antique store, whatever, outside of Zion National Park. Normally, a lot of times I'll start out the weekend or the week in a certain pair of jeans, and I just wear them throughout. If they don't get real dirty, I just wear them over the course of the week. And that's my fashion question of the day. Do you guys do the same? You kind of get one pair of jeans or one pair of pants and you wear them over a long period of time. Then these are Gap that I cut off and shredded. And then this is one of and these are not inexpensive, you guys, but oh my gosh, are they a great investment. These are those Mary Chukka boots. I absolutely love these. I have them in 2 different colors, and they're just great. They're great for working outside, and I think they're cute as can be to wear with jeans or skirts or dresses. And actually, I think they look fun even after they're kind of scuffed up. They're also warm enough that if you wear them with thick socks, if you are in an area that's real snowy or icy or whatever, they've got good tread on them, and they're great for winter attire. So there you go. There's my outfit of the day.